So this is a sawmill from the 1940s that was brought to Chapleau, where we are right now, after a bushfire to cut timber that was left over from that. So you can see this is the whole mechanism back here for advancing the log forward. They've left a sample log in there for us to look at. Got the big blade there. I'm guessing that this is the area that it was propelled by, usually by a big belt, probably onto a steam engine. And it's even got a big riving knife there to stop the logs from binding. And this is the plaque. This carriage and circular saw was part of a portable sawmill designed and built by J.E. Martel in La Sarre, Quebec. This sawmill was brought to Chapleau in 1950 to salvage timber after the bushfire of 1948. It was operated at Racine Lake and ran there till 1959. Day 6, and we're in Chapleau, and this is probably the most unique motel room we've ever had. It's almost like a little apartment. This is like the little living room, and it even has a little kitchenette where we're making coffee. Les is busy putting some breakfast together. Right. Good morning, dear. How are you?
I'm good, sweetie. We're roughing it.
Yeah,
coffee with no cream.
Yeah, with coffee with no cream. And I guess the unique feature of this place is it has an upstairs. I'm sure this place caters to snowmobilers in the wintertime and fishermen and all that sort of stuff. So we got the little bathroom in there, and 2 bedrooms, beds unmade, of course. But yeah, 2 bedrooms. But it was clean and wasn't particularly fancy. But mind you, there's nothing really fancy in Chapleau. We took a walk around town last night, and it has that whole look of a town that's sort of fading away, unfortunately. Big Canadian Pacific Railway presence in the town, and that's about it. But it was a neat experience coming all the way up here. This is probably the farthest north that I've ever been in Ontario so far, and got a real kind of a flavor for what it's like up here. So today we're going to be heading off down to Aubrey Provincial Parks, where there's a place called Aubrey Falls, which from what I read has got a nice little hiking area there that we can go in and go into kind of the backcountry a little bit without going too far. And then we're going to leave there and we're going to head down to Thessalon, Ontario, which is right down on the shore of Lake Huron. Take a little break there, and then the final little leg of our journey today is going to be up to Elliot Lake. From there we'll spend 1 night. So we'll pick it up along the way. Well, not my finest hour. I just crashed our drone. So it's still on, so we're going to go try and find it. A pretty rugged countryside around here, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. So I guess the perils of drone flight. So we're going to go give it a try, see if we can retrieve it. It's still on, and it's got this Find My Drone feature, so we're going to give it a try. Well, we weren't successful at rescuing the drone. We tried it on both sides of the waterfall, but it appears it's sitting on a little kind of a island out there up in a tree. But on the positive side of things, I was able to get close enough to it where I could download about a 7-minute file from it, so at least I'll have the footage of this area at Aubrey Falls. But that was unfortunate. I was being pretty careful when I was flying it, and just got out of sight for a moment, and I guess I must have made a wrong turn and flew it into a tree. I'm sure I'm not the first person that's done it, and probably won't be the last. But so time to head back to the bike and continue on our way down to Thessalon for a little stop break and some gas. So we're currently riding Ontario's Tail of the Dragon, which is Highway 129. We're going southbound towards Thessalon. We just stopped here. I don't know how well this is going to come out on the video, but we're going to give it a try. That's got to be 1,000 feet up there. Another thing we're really experiencing today is you can really see it in the air. There's a real smoke haze coming from some bushfires that I believe are burning in Manitoba right now, and because our weather is changing from that direction, we're starting to see a kind of a bluey, smoky haze in the air today. Can't really smell it or taste it, but it's definitely there visually. Well, here we are, day 7 of our trip. We're just standing in a grocery store parking lot right now. Leslie just went in to pick up some food for the day, and probably for the evening we're probably going to get to our hotel tonight and just chill out for the evening before we do our last push home. Spyder is looking like a transformer toy right now with all its compartments open. And we're getting ready to make a push down to North Bay today. It's 288 kilometers from Elliot Lake to North Bay, but it's a pretty easy ride. The roads are all good. We'll be going down Highway 108 here to the Trans-Canada Highway, then heading on that all the way to North Bay today. So it'll just be stops for rest and for fuel, and we'll be back to you when we get to North Bay. I'm gonna just film some of this road that that comes up into Elliot Lake. It was a kind of a nice, pretty ride, so probably include that in the video somewhere as well. So, second last day of our journey. It's been really good. We've definitely had some adventures. Been on some very interesting roads, been on some very interesting little towns along the way. It's been good. So we'll pick you up in North Bay.
Let's get going. It's hotter than Hades.
North Bay right now, and this huge thunder cell is going through. As you can see, I'm just getting some footage of our poor old Spyder just sitting out there getting soaked. But on the bright side, this hopefully will wash some of the bugs off of it. Major storm right now. Well folks, this is day 8 and we are leaving North Bay. We had kind of a rushed exit this morning because there is some pretty nasty weather rolling in, and we want to try and get as far south as quickly as possible to hopefully avoid that. But we're ready. We've got our rain suits just very accessible in the trunk, and everything should be fine. So a short but very nice day in North Bay. Nice city. I haven't been here since I was a kid, so it was nice to get back and look around the place. So the Spyder got thoroughly drenched last night in the rain. We had a major storm go through here like literally an hour after we arrived last night, so it was pretty wet and windy, and I was talking to the lady at the front desk of the hotel today, and she told me they had hail last night, but I don't see any visible signs of that or damage. But so the Spyder got kind of a free car wash, but it's still pretty filthy. So we're headed for home now, and we'll pick you up down there. This is our last stop before coming home. We're at Halls Lake, probably about an hour from home. And are we at campground or picnic area?
Picnic area.
Picnic area, yes.
User has trouble with that.
Yes, we do. I have trouble with the difference between picnic areas and campgrounds. If you watch our earlier videos, you'll see a lot of this.
Yeah, tents or picnic tables.
Yes.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yes, it's really straightforward. So this is our last stop before we get home on a trip that we're well over 2,000 kilometers. So it's been kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Good, it's been a great trip. Bad, I lost a connector from my GoPro, and the GoPro hasn't been working very well. And the ugly, crash of the drone and the loss of the drone. The Mavic Mini rests in peace in Aubrey Falls Provincial Park, dangling in a tree.
Not the first, and probably not the last.
This is true. Anyway, we'll probably do a little wrap up when we get home in the driveway. So we're just gonna have our last little snack here.
Yes. McDonald's muffin.
We have our extremely dirty Spyder that was sitting out in the rain last night. But
Hailed on.
it got hailed on. But it's still running well. That's the main thing. Mechanically, no ill effects of the rain last night. So, time for a last snack and a little bit of water, and then we're heading for home. Right, Les?
Yep. Home sweet home.
Home sweet home. So Les can do the laundry.
Oh, yay.
So today has been a pretty cool day. We got up early and made the run, beating the weather, and I think we actually did it. I still believe a lot of the haze that we're seeing in the air right now is the smoke from these forest fires. But it's been a nice run. It's been nice and cool, so it's all good. We're out. Well, we just pulled in and we finished our trip. Just over 2,000 kilometers on the Spyder over the last 8 days and 7 nights, and it was absolutely fantastic. We left here at Fenland Falls and made our way from here up to Sturgeon Falls for one overnight. Then we did a big run from Sturgeon Falls up to Sault Ste. Marie, just shy of 400 kilometers in one day. That's the longest we've ever done in one day. Spent a couple of days in Sault Ste. Marie, and then we made the run up to Wawa along probably some of the most spectacular scenery I've ever seen in our Spyder riding history so far. That run up the Trans-Canada Highway was just nothing short of spectacular. And it's so nice to see that right in our own province here in Ontario, Canada. After Wawa, we went up to Chapleau and made a run across Highway 101, which was kind of neat. It was just complete out in the middle of nowhere stuff. There was no cell phone service. There was very few buildings, and it was just wilderness. Spent the night in Chapleau, and then we headed down Highway 129 to ending up at Elliot Lake, and we did the Ontario's version of the Tail of the Dragon on Highway 129 that meanders down beside the Mississagi River. And again, more beautiful scenery and countryside. We went to a beautiful waterfall in Aubrey Provincial Park on the way down there, and then we spent the night in Elliot Lake. After Elliot Lake, we made a run over to North Bay for our last night along the Trans-Canada Highway, going the other direction, this time going east. Had a nice night in North Bay. Decided to get up early this morning because the weather was looking kind of dodgy for later on in the day up there, so we thought we'd beat the weather, and we did. We managed to come the whole way from North Bay with no rain, and now we're home. So just had a great trip.